Ah, it's you two. I was just about to go...
Huh? Tighnari? What are you doing here?
I came to check on...
You mean she's sick?
No need. Kale has been more...
So, Tighnari, what's really wrong with Kale?
Let's take this conversation... All right, let's continue our conversation here, shall we? To be honest, I hadn't realized that you're that honorary knight from Mondstadt until Kale told me just now. I've also heard all... So, just to clarify, what I'm about to tell you about Kale is not because of who you are or your past feats. Instead, I am going to well, because Kale asked me to. And honestly speaking, I was against Kale revealing her, but she insisted. Saying you two treated her with sincerity, and
So, Tighnari, what exactly is wrong with Kale? You said this is some...
Right. Ever since she was a child, she's been afflicted with a disease called Elazar.
Elazar?
Yes, it's a disease unique to the lands of Sumeru. It is characterized by dark and hardened scales that form on the body. At first, the afflicted may only feel mild numbness on the affected area of the skin. However, as the disease progresses, one may begin feeling fatigued, and even in its final stages, the disease strips a person of the ability to control.
That sounds terrifying. Wait, hold on. So when Kale seemed to be acting...
Correct. That would be the effects of Elazar, which is precisely why I do not want her carrying or holding anything. With appropriate treatment, the disease can be effectively controlled before it progresses to a more serious stage. Nevertheless, Kale's mother still hoped that there was something out there. She handed...
What? The Fatui?
Ah, it appears you're already familiar with them. Anyway, the person who eventually rescued Kale and brought her to me for care said that she had been given to a harbinger known as the Doctor. I have no idea how this Doctor managed to do it, but her case of Elazar was completely stable for all the years that Kale... However, Kale's days with the Fatui were anything but pleasant. Kale is a resilient individual and always tries to appear cheerful, but her experience with the Fatui has left deep scars. Even now... Oh, by the way, Paimon, Kale wanted me to tell you that she's sorry for scaring you yesterday. She also wanted both of you...
She doesn't need to apologize.
Well said. Kale once...
Don't worry, Tighnari. We'll take good...
Well, it's not, though. I must admit, she was interested in... Her stamina has gotten much worse. All right. Now that I've told you about Kale's past, I think I'll head into the rainforest to find some ingredients needed for her medicine. I'll see you two later.
Yeah!
All right.
No problem!
Let's go then. We'll be looking for a plant...
Hey, Tighnari? Where exactly are we going to find this plant?
Lunar lotus can be found all over the rainforest.
Given the name, it sounds like we should be looking for it in the water.
You are correct. Lunar lotus grows in the water. When fully matured, they look like giant blue flowers floating on the water's surface. Quite an attractive species, if you ask me. The large petals are actually the plant's leaves and sepals, which surround a very small flower. You should note that many of the plants found in Sumeru have names that are contrary to their species. Take the Kalpalata, for example. The plant is not a lotus at all, but rather a vine. And then there's the Sumeru rose, which is not a rose, completely contrary to its name.
Oh, huh. Okay then. Note to Paimon, never bring up the topic of flowers with Tighnari.
Take it easy.
There should be loot. If you could manage, we'll rendezvous here once.
Alright, we've gathered enough lunar lotuses. Let's head back to meet Tainari. Hey, Tainari!
Let me take a look. I'm quite glad.
Hey, Tainari!
Oh, Tainari! Someone's go-
Ah, yes, that's a. Let's go find out what's going on.
Tainari, thank goodness we found you here. We were just about to head back and find you at...
What's going on?
We just discovered a withering zone.
The withering? Can you tell me?
It's up ahead, deep in the river valley. It's appeared in a spot that blocks...
And the radius of the contamination?
Sorry, I couldn't get a...
No one in our patrol team had a vision, and it appeared to still be spreading. So we didn't risk...
Okay, I understand.
Wait, Tainari! Why don't you let us help?
You two have only just arrived in Sumeru. You're still unfamiliar. There's a unique type of anomaly that occurs in the Sumeru rainforest. The affected areas not only cause nearby vegetation to wither, but it's also lethal to wildlife and even people. If you don't carry a vision, then you should think twice before...
Yes, Amir is absolute. As Amir said, only someone with a vision, that is, the power to manipulate elements, will be able to resist the withering's.
That's right. If any of the forest rangers without a vision come across a withering zone, only someone with a vision can venture within a withering. But you don't seem to carry a vision.
Don't worry, he may not have a vision, but he's a real pro at using the power of the...
It seems the rumors about you are true. In that case, all right, we typically only... Stop. Don't move any further. Look there in the distance.
Huh? Where? Oh, look! Those plants have withered! That whole area is kinda gloomy. Oh, Paimon doesn't like the...
That is the withering. All right, traveler. We're going to have to enter that wither... Thank you. But I must warn you. Even with element... You ready then? Let's go. First, we must locate any branches sustaining the withering zone.
Busted! Gotcha! No! Here comes the catch! Take it easy.
Wind Strider!
Illusion shattered!
Great work. Now that all the branches have been cleared, we'll need to take care of the tumor.
Inazuma shines eternal!
Now, destroy the tumors of the withering.
Take it easy.
Yes, thanks to you two.
Tainari? You make it sound like we did well.
It's that obvious, huh? Alright. Recently, the rate at which the withering zone appears has been increasing. Even though we were able to quickly clear... If that simply meant more work for me, then... For instance, even this presents a crisis. And most disturbingly, as the appearances of withering zones have...
Huh? Well, what?
I'm still not sure of the exact reason. However, I've received word from acquaintances at the academia that similar cases are being reported for patients with... No, none that we know of. The withering has been recorded in Sumeru for millennia. It's said that it originates from the depth. By the way, have you heard of Irminsul before? Irminsul is a tree located deep beneath the surface. Although it isn't like any tree we know in a biological sense. You can basically think of it as a large tree that grows downwards rather than upwards. I'm sure you've heard of ley lines, right? They're like the roots of Irminsul, spreading and extending from a massive cavern deep underground all the way up to the surface. Ley lines continually absorb the memories of this world, which are then funneled into Irminsul, allowing it to collect knowledge, the Dendro Arc. And as for the withering, that's right. My ancestors learned of this from Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's familiars a long time ago. But even those mysterious creatures did not know of a cure for Irminsul. I'm afraid we Rangers will be battling the withering zones here for a long time until a cure is found. Alright, that's enough on this topic for the time being. Now that we've taken care of things here, it's time for us to head back to Gandharvaville.
Windstrider! Time to go. One with nature.
Quietly now.
Yeah.
Tainari, you all made it back. How did it...
The withering zone you reported has been taken care of. Huh. Wait, is that... Oh no, Hypatia!
Huh? What's wrong, Tainari?
This Duskbird is Hypatia's designated courier for urgent news. You do remember her, don't you? She's the scholar you and Paimon were following when you first arrived in
Oh, her? How could we forget?
Let me see what's written in the letter first.
So what's it say? And what's with that weird expression on your face? Huh? All Paimon?
Yes, allow me to explain. After we brought you from Hypatia's cave to Gandharvaville, Hypatia resumed her meditation. She must have just finished. It's been nearly 3 days since she's had anything to eat, and it appears she's forgotten to prepare some rations. This letter is her—
What? You mean she's been sitting there for 3 days? Hey, wait, how did you know all that?
Well, obviously because this has happened before. Last time she drew 5 lines, and by the time we found her... Needless to say, Hypatia's been through worse, but we should I've got some emergency—
Wait, you want...
Let's find out. Here, Traveler, take a smell and see. So, how do you feel?
Huh? Really? You're not feeling... But wait, how'd you know that he'd be okay then?
Back when we were clearing the Withering Zone, I observed that he could adeptly manipulate the Dendro element. I knew then that he would be fine. And if I may ask, when I was telling you two about Irminsol's ley lines, was what I described similar at all to what you saw while you were unconscious? That's correct. Those weren't hallucinations at all. Though I don't because what you saw is of significant importance. Not just for the nation of Sumeru, but the entire world of Tevat. My forefathers were shown much favor by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. Now, after seeing you in action with my own eyes, you have earned my confidence. When you passed out, your consciousness had connected directly with Irminsol. What you witnessed were actually real memories contained... I could try to tell you more, but it would be better if you went to ask Hypatia instead. That was because... Please, wait here for a... Here, take these. It's a meal. Also, here's a letter that I would like you to get. No.
Hypatia should still be in the cave. Hypatia should still be in the cave. Let's go inside and see how she's doing. Hello? Maybe she went out to look for some food. Let's try looking around the area. Hypatia, There's no way we can get her to eat. Huh? Wait, why does it look so... Huh? How'd things out here end up looking like this?
Take it easy.
Wow, this place is huge! I knew there's something off about that cave. Let's think of a way to get over there and have a closer look. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a lead of some kind.
Follow the wind. Follow the wind. Time to go.
Huh? What happened just now? Why'd everything around us suddenly change?
Time to go. Follow the wind. Time to go.
Take your true form!
Into the wind. Clouds high. The birds come.
In your dreams! Cryo incarnate!
to go.
The Abyss Herald! What are you planning?
Strange place. Plotting. You need it.
Gotcha. There is no escape. Unleash. Game's up. Fun is over. Now you shall perish. Illusion shattered.
Wind strike. Fallen leaves. Adorn.
Shine down. Do your master's bidding.
Huh? Why can't we beat this guy? Oh, Paimon doesn't get it! We faced others like him before! What's wrong this time?
Traveler. Though you may have managed to avert countless crises before, your good fortune was bound to end sooner or later. It's time you realize how weak and powerless you really are. Your sister. Oh, pitiful traveler. Are you? Her Highness has long since forsaken you. Your meager existence in her. The bonds of love and family which drive you to find your sibling are utterly gone. But don't you fret now. Today will be your...
What do we do? We haven't seen... Oh, there she is! Quick, let's see him. Well, the good news is that she's still conscious. Hey, why'd you drop her food on the floor like that? Are you okay? Anyways, we can talk about this later. We better make sure she... Whoa! Wait a sec. Look at all this fruit lying around her. We can put that...
Who is there? Tainari, is that you? Huh?
It's okay. You can relax, Hypatia. Tainari sent us here to bring you some food and water. Here, we have a letter that he asked us to give you.
I see. So, you're friends of Tainari. I apologize for all the trouble I've caused you. I'm grateful that you came so quickly to save me. You even brought all this fruit.
Well, actually, we didn't bring the fruit. It was already here when we arrived. We were kind of wondering about that, actually. When we found you here, there was all this fruit lying around and even some juice dripping from your lips. How did you end up like this anyway?
Oh, really? I seem to understand now. All the fruit was likely from my, neighbor. Must have come by and saw me like this.
Your neighbor? You mean there's someone else living nearby?
Oh? So you're able to see them too?
Wait, hold on a second, Traveler. You say that before we arrived, you saw some mysterious creature and suddenly had a strange dream? Isn't that a little too crazy to believe?
No, I actually do believe what the Traveler is saying. I myself had a similar experience once before and ended up scaring my timid little neighbor here. You needn't worry. They mean you no harm. They only dragged you into the dream because they hoped to buy themselves a little time in order to scurry away.
So, Hypatia, just what kind of creature is your neighbor exactly?
I'm not sure what it's called, to be honest. But I do know that they have some sort of deeper connection with the Dendro-Archon. I know this because the first time I saw them was also the exact day my consciousness was able to form a connection with Irminsul. Even after I opened my eyes and stopped meditating, my heart was still pounding, and my mind was racing with all the knowledge that I had touched. And at that very moment, I suddenly noticed a small figure at the opening of the cave. In my curiosity, I began to walk over to the creature. They must have already been used to me living in the cave, because they didn't seem to mind me approaching them. They just kept doing whatever they were up to. It wasn't until I crouched down next to them that they suddenly realized that I could see them.
Oh! And then?
And then I had a dream. By the time I came to, they were nowhere to be seen. I was convinced they'd never show up again. But sure enough, I saw them nearby a few days later. And they weren't alone. I feel like they aren't as afraid of me as the first time I approached them. But I never would have expected them to save me. Yes, no doubt about that. By the way, Tainari mentioned in his letter that you had questions for me regarding Irminsul. Sorry about that. Sounds like just drinking juice still isn't quite enough for my stomach.
Well, if somebody hadn't dropped the food earlier... Anyway, looks like we'll need to prepare something ourselves. Besides, Paimon's getting hungry too. Let's eat first and talk about Irminsul later. All right, we're up, Traveler. Today's menu will feature Sweet Madame and...
Sounds...
All done! Let's... Oh, it smells...
Manifest!
Are you already finished cooking? Even though everything you mentioned was in Tainari's letter, it's still hard to believe you were able to connect with Irminsul immediately after smelling Spiritborn eel for the first time. It took me nearly 3 years before I could do so. And everyone at the academia even lauded me as a genius. You should know that some researchers spent their entire lives without ever successfully connecting with Irminsul as you have.
So why does this incense allow people to connect to Irminsul?
The ingredients used to make Spiritborn ale primarily consist of plants created by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. These special ingredients are conducive to heightening our senses to the Dendro-Archon's power. Since the root of the Dendro-Archon's power lies within Irminsul, we can occasionally tap into her powers to peer into the depths of the earth. Naturally, anyone who can establish a connection with Irminsul in their first ever attempt must be a person of
Makes sense. But Paimon's got a question. Why was he sensitive?
That was primarily due to his body's unique constitution. Stimulated by the incense, he could perceive the Dendro-Archon's power and experience the sensory overload. Taking in any sense similar to the ingredients of Spiritborn ale would not to worry, though. Technically, your body should still be sensitive to the powers of the Dendro-Archon, But unless...
Well, that...
I must admit, I am quite envious of your abilities. Even if it meant suffering from pounding headaches for the rest of my life, I'd consider it worthwhile so long...
Whoa! You're really serious about...
I am a researcher. As a member of the Ritaoist Darshan at the Academia, my main area of research is the stars and their connection to the fate of living beings, which is why I must turn... If only my perception wasn't so limited. Unfortunately, I cannot guarantee that my every attempt to attune with Irminsul. I am currently in the stage of training known as Satyavada life. Many researchers in Sumeru have lost their minds while seeking to attune with Irminsul during this stage. Sages have said that Irminsul contains divine knowledge, and touching such knowledge without the proper preparations and abilities will only lead to one's mind. That's why we meditate a lot.
Whoa! So knowledge from Irminsul can be...
Of course I do. However, I've been feeling better as of late. I don't get as scared anymore knowing that I believe that being able to see them is a sort of blessing from the Dendro Archon. But what's strangest of all is that they're clearly an envoy of the God of Wisdom herself. And they have the curious power to make people dream.
What's so strange about that? It doesn't sound so out of place for...
Well, it's strange because nearly nobody in Sumeru can ever dream.
Huh. Is that true?
Yes, well, to an extent. Only the sages say that wisdom implies rationality, but that which occurs in dreams is often neither rational nor logical. Yes, if one struggles with anxieties, those emotions could influence their dream. The fact that the people of Sumeru do not have dreams is seen as a blessing by the sages. They believe that Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, the god of wisdom, is keeping us away from the foolish delusion. I was born into a family of scholars in Sumeru City. Ever since I was a child, my parents would always tell me that I'll know I've grown up once I stop dreaming. I studied hard, enrolled as a student in the academia, and went on to become... But then, on the day I scared the little Aranara, I suddenly saw a dream again. It was incredible. Though I don't exactly remember what I saw, I clearly recall the feeling. Back then, I was foolish and ignorant as any youth would be, but I was free of fear. Maybe dreaming isn't as bad as we've made. Just be sure not to speak of this if you travel to Sumeru City.
So, do you have any thoughts about the things he saw when he connected with Irminsul?
Sorry, I'm afraid I don't have any answers as of now. All World... If only I could ascend past Satyavada life and begin Paripurna life. I might have some more answers for you. If you two are ever in the area, there's no need to be thanking me. You two are my saviors. Besides, I'm already...
Now that we know Hypatia is all right and had the chance to ask her some questions, Paimon thinks it's about time to head back to Gundam.
Obey!
Think about it, Tainari. Refusing to join is tantamount to burying your head in this. I understand that you're a forest watcher and that it's your duty to combat the effects of withering zones. But isn't it evident that such work is not a lasting As Sage Kage clearly stated, your presence and guidance in Sumeru City is pivotal in finding a cure for Irminsul. How could you possibly refuse?
Keep your emotions in check, Gulam. Let's at least listen to Tainari's reason for declining. We're here to invite him to the Academia.
Sage Kage, I am truly honored that you came here in person, but I'm afraid I am merely a forest watcher. How could the great minds of the Haravatat have any need of someone like me?
Well, it turns out that your refusal letter had some implications on your master's reputation. He is a renowned sage of the Immorta, after all. So now I've come here in his stead.
I see. Huh. And I figured that given his temper, he would come here and berate me personally.
Tainari, your master is an integral part of this effort, and now he requires you.
And what exactly does my master need of me, Sage Kage?
You'll know once you've arrived in Sumeru City, that is.
And how long will I be required to stay?
There's no definite answer as of now.
Do you mean to tell me that despite coming all the way here to Gandharvaville, you still can't answer the questions I laid out in the letter to my master? If that's the case, then I'm afraid I cannot give you a definite answer either.
Tainari, but you...
So be it. Come, Gulam, we're leaving.
Tainari, what was that all about?
It's nothing. Some people from the academia wanted me to go to Sumeru, but all that can wait.
It was quite the eventful trip.
Very good. Now that the
That's right.
Sorry,
Well,
let me think. How about this? Also, when you enter Sumeru,
oh? What is it?
it's called an Akasha terminal. Needless to say,
Great! Next up, Sumeru. That's right. Tainari, we have something
yes, she's doing much better. After being confined to her bed all this time, I thought a little walk would do her some good. Last I saw her, she was taking the path. She knew you two would be leaving soon.
Thanks, Tainari.
Farewell. And good luck.
Unleash!
Thanks for waiting here just to see us up.
Don't worry about me, and, I'm sorry. I should have, but I guess now I understand that the most important
There's no need to apologize, Kale. We're probably still gonna worry about your condition.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Oh? What is it?
It's my recipe for pita pockets. I told you that I'd give you a copy, remember?
Yay! Thanks, Kale.
I hope that whenever you eat them, you'll both remember your time. Well then, I train you.
Isn't a single one missing.
Sumeru City! Oh, did you see that? When those people entered the city, something on their heads lit up.
One moment, please, you two. It appears this is your first time visiting Sumeru City.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because there's currently no information on either of you in the Akasha. But no need to worry, that won't prevent you from entering the city. In fact, the Academia conveniently provides each traveler to Sumeru City. Perhaps you two have heard of the Akasha before. It's our beloved Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's lasting legacy, a treasure trove of collected knowledge. After centuries of tireless research on the Akasha, the Academia created one of its most ingenious inventions, the Akasha Terminal. As long as you are within Sumeru's borders, you may use an Akasha terminal to connect directly to the Akasha and access any knowledge you need. I should mention that due to technical limitations, the operation of Akasha terminals will be much smoother and more effective in large...
Oh, so this is the thing that Tainari was telling us about.
You two are quite fortunate. Until recently, it was standard practice to only issue Akasha terminals to outlanders who spent an extended amount of time in Sumeru. However, this policy was recently changed, and now all Here are your Akasha terminals. Please
It kinda looks like a leaf.
To activate it, simply hold it in your hand and say the following phrase to yourself. May the mighty God bless us with their voice of wisdom.
Oh, since this little doodad lets you access knowledge, maybe we can use it to find a way to meet Lesser Lord Kusanagi. Let's give it a try. Ahem. May the mighty God bless us with their voice of wisdom. Whoa! Just now, something clicked, and Paimon suddenly knew how to use this thing. It seems all we need to do is concentrate on what we want to know, and bam! You get it. Oh, that'll come in real handy.
Exactly. That is the power of the Akasha. And with that, let me officially welcome you both to Sumeru City. May the wisdom of the Dendro Archon always be your guide.
Okay, now that we're in, we can check the Akasha about Lesser Lord Kusanagi. 500 years ago, the sages found a newly born deity from within some scorched ruins. The deity now resides in the sanctuary of Surasthana. Seems pretty similar to what Okay, next, let's concentrate on asking how to meet her. Paimon doesn't sense anything. Oh, come on! Focusing on this question feels like... Paimon's brain is exhausted. Oh, smart idea. But what are you going to ask it? You too? Well, glad it's not just Paimon. Uh-oh. Paimon's getting all teary-eyed all of a sudden. It feels... Because we're Outlanders, and we've only just arrived. Well, seems that he's from Sumeru, and even has a position in the... Let's see. Tainari wrote an address on the letter's envelope. Oh, it's not far from the city's gate. Let's head over and have a look. Oh. Hello, are you Rohawi?
Yes, that's me.
Great.
What? Please, there's no need to say anything, really. Sure, I admit that the article I published last month wasn't my...
Here.
Oh, let me see. Oh, ooh, seems even...
We want...
You mean you want to... Sorry, the Akasha...
What? You too? But what about your abilities for getting information and all that?
Well, as I said, this isn't my area of expertise. I am but a lowly researcher, so the Akasha doesn't see a need for me to know more about the Dendro Archon. All I know is that ever since Lesser Lord Kusanagi returned to Sumeru, she's never left the sanctuary of Surasthana or made a public appearance.
Didn't expect her to be such a mysterious figure.
The Dendro Archon is somewhat of a recluse. Perhaps she just doesn't want to entertain visitors, which would explain the lack of information in the Akasha.
But...
No need to worry just yet. I'm only hypothesizing here. And besides, you two should consider the bright side of things. Not being able to see Lesser Lord... In this world, there will always be information you cannot obtain from the Akasha, and things you could... Take me, for example.
Okay.
Don't mention it. If you two ever want information about things like who's been promoted, hey, come on!
Oh, so what do we do now? Even if we want to talk to... Huh? Like who? Oh, you're right! Catherine! The adventurers...
I've been handed all the cumbersome tests.
Take it easy.
Ad Astra Abyssosk. Hello,
Catherine, we need your help with...
understood. The Adventurers Guild is always ready to serve.
We want to meet with Lesser Lord Kusanali.
You two wish to meet with Sumeru's Archon. Understood. Please wait. I apologize, but I am unable to call up any relevant information in the Akasha.
Aww, another dead end. Well, if Catherine can't help us, then we will...
Please do not worry. I may know of someone who can help you in Sumeru. The Adventurers Guild does not serve as the vanguard of information. Rather, there are numerous active mercenary groups collectively known as the Eremites. They take on various contracts and work all across Sumeru, so they naturally accrue intelligence. An Eremite brigade called the Corps of 30 is in charge of Sumeru City's defenses. Not only are they the oldest brigade, but they are responsible for managing and coordinating the affairs of all other mercenary brigades.
Corps of 30?
Supposedly, they are named as such because their ranks numbered 30 at their inception. Asfand, an advisor if you'd like to get in contact with him. You're welcome. I wish you two the best of luck.
All right, off to the Citadel of Razor we go!
Welcome. The Adventurers Guild told me to expect you two.
It's nice to meet you, Asfand. We'd like to ask you about something.
I see. So, Catherine's the one. Ha! It's true that the Eremites' network is vast, but even I can't help you meet the...
Wait, seriously?
Afraid so. The Eremites aren't terribly religious, so we don't know much about divinities. As far as the Akasha goes, we can access even less than you. We originally came from the desert. The gods there died off long ago. Since those days, we've used our own two hands to carve out a living. We don't beg gods for their aid. It isn't just us, though. If you ask me, I think most in Sumeru aren't interested.
Oh? Why is that?
Just take the Academia, for example. They're the ones who truly rule Sumeru. Although they believe in gods, most of them only care for the late Greater Lord Rugurtavara. In their eyes, she was the one who founded Sumeru and gifted us with the Akasha. Lesser Lord Kusanali just happened to inherit her legacy. Because of the Academia's influence, most citizens are more familiar with Greater Lord Rugurtavara and hold her in greater esteem. Not to mention that Lesser Lord Kusanali never makes an appearance, and the Academia never announces anything about her. As far as the people of Sumeru are concerned, she's just a god that exists. And that's all.
Really? Aw. After hearing all of that, Paimon sort of feels bad for Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Ha! But who knows? We're all just guessing when it comes down to it. Besides, I'm sure the God of Wisdom doesn't worry about her reputation among people like us.
All right. Well, thanks for the info, Osfond.
No problem. Always happy to help out the Adventurers Guild.
Seems Osfond was right about most people's attitudes here. Not only are they not interested in the Dendro Archon, they even say stuff like, if the Akasha doesn't think I should know, then I don't need to know about it. We've been asking for information non-stop ever since we got to Sumeru. But the harder we try, the more helpless everything seems. Isn't there at least one
You two are interested in Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Huh? Who are you?
From the sound of it, you two are Outlanders who recently arrived here. You've been asking around for information on Lesser Lord— Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Dunyarzad, one of Lesser Lord Kusanali's—
Whoa, really? Then
I'm afraid I can't help you with that. But your conversation earlier did happen to remind me of a legend about the Dendro Archon. Sure. It goes like this. Long, long ago, there was a man who heard a prophecy. It predicted that a great calamity was about to befall him. Panicked by what he heard, the man sought out the Dendro Archon in hopes that she would bless him with the wisdom to help him escape his predicament. The man journeyed across deserts and through rainforests and experienced tribulations of every kind. However, he still couldn't find any trace of the Dendro Archon. In despair, he thought, alas, the Archon has abandoned me. He then had no choice but to sorrowfully resign to his fate.
Okay,
And then, the calamity came. But to his own surprise, the man felt somehow emboldened by the trials of his journey. By relying on his own strength, he managed to overcome the adversity. At that moment, a bird perched upon his shoulder. This bird was, in fact, an avatar of the Dendro Archon. She said, "O Archon Seeker, do you now understand? She and her wisdom have long been found by you. Along your journey, we were in every flower and blade of grass, every ray of sparkling sun, and every breath of dancing wind."
Yeah, thanks.
In a way, it seems like this—
Dunyarzad.
Of course. I'm terribly sorry, but it seems the—
Hey, wait! What the heck just happened? It looks like they're searching for someone. Dunyarzad was— this stinks! We finally managed to find a lead about Lesser Lord Kusanali! We can't let them— Let's see if we can get rid of them. Then we can catch up with Dunyarzad.
Hey, have you two seen a brown-haired girl wearing a purple top and a long blue dress?
Did she have bandages wrapped around her—
Yes, that's her. Did you
yeah, she went—
Quick, after her!